All right, here's the final update of my Amazon worm bin. Now, as you can see, I have a board on top of it. And this is to prevent rain from getting in the worm bin. I did have an issue where when it rained really hard, it would flood it out. And it happened several times before I put the board on it. Also, this has been in 100-degree weather and freezing weather. There's one more thing going on as well. These worms have not been fed in a long time, and there's a reason for that. We have chickens now, so all the table scraps are going to the chickens. We got these when egg prices started going up, and man, I tell you what, these guys produce like 4 eggs a day. We're definitely getting overloaded with eggs. And I want to thank my buddy Clint for letting me have 4 of his chickens. Now let's take this into the garage and open it up. And here's the worm bin in the garage. Now I'm going to issue a quick warning. This is probably going to be pretty gross. If you don't like gross worm stuff, I'd stop watching the video now. Now I got some newspapers that I'm going to put the worm dirt on to try to dry it out. Maybe that will help make it. So the GoPro decided to eat most of the footage of me taking the worm bin apart. So I'm going to have to give you guys a brief overview of how things went. What we got here is the bottom layer, the next layer up, the next layer up, and then the top layer, which is not composted. The top layer was really dry and there were no worms in it. And in fact, out of all of this, I only recovered 5 worms. Those 5 worms are in the top layer, which is now the bottom layer of the unit. And I put a little bit of dirt in it, a few of these eggshells, and of course the top layer, plus some fresh greens from the garden. Even though it's wintertime, there are certain greens you can grow this time of year. Most of those greens are being fed to the chickens, but I put them in there just to give them something moist. Now I think the majority of the worms died because of either freezing weather or the hot weather, or a combination of both. It still goes to show we had 5 European night crawlers survive not being fed, freezing weather, and really hot weather. In the future, I would suggest trying to keep it out of the heat and out of the cold so you can have more worms. Or if you want better, faster compost, just use the little red wigglers. You can't really fish with them, but it will compost really fast. And even the big reds is really good looking dirt. I just put it on the newspapers to try and dry it out before I have to put my boat back in here. Another failure of this little project is the massive amount of eggshells my dad put in here. I really don't think European night crawlers like eggshells because they're in all of it and they're not breaking down. Now, red wigglers, I don't know if they would eat eggshells or not. So if I were you, don't put eggshells in this. And this is really an overload of eggshells. Now, there is a possibility of worm eggs mixed up in this stuff, but I'm still going to use it as potting soil and not put it back into the worm bin. The worm bin will probably stay in the garage over the winter, and then I might start filling it up again next spring. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it, really. I do know this is going to be the last worm bin update. And while I did get some good dirt, I would say it is a little bit of a failure. And that's why I make these videos, so you guys can learn from my mistakes. And I guess this is going to be a shorter video because I really don't have anything else to say about this project. It's been an interesting year-long project. And feel free to ask questions if you have any on this. It's really straightforward. You just put plant material in here and let the worms process it. Just make sure it's out of the rain, out of the extreme heat, and out of the extreme cold if you want worms to fish with. Which I already think I said that. Anyway, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to watch this really short video. I really appreciate it. I do have ideas of more videos that are less fishing related in the future, so stay tuned and see what I publish. And let me know if you want me to do something specific, like maybe my camera equipment. I might talk about that someday if you're interested. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.